feel like that's what's happening because it's software, and this thing theoretically should be using our what do you call that, our processor. So let's see how things go now. Just going to find an attack. This is a node that I made to make it easy for me to remember, and to so that it gets easier for me to know what to do next and what not to do. Doesn't look much like there has been much difference. I didn't notice much difference compared to. Okay, we also need enums. We're gonna make a folder called combat, and inside here we're gonna creating enumeration. We're gonna call this combat state. None, which means not attacking. So we're gonna have attacking. There's some call blocking, parrying, stunned. We don't need anything. And then we can add another state, I guess. Transitioning. Into another enemy. That state is going to be okay. I think that is going to be it. Shouldn't be that hard to imagine. So for the default values, let's go to our animation fighter attacks. Let's use our 1-3 combo. What about this? Let's call this roundhouse kick. Okay, so this is how it looks. I'm gonna add a motion. Okay. Just to test that this thing works, we're gonna call this what do you call this, attack. We are not going to ignore the z-axis. Call it that. Okay. It's going to be our default. Let's get set the damage to, let's say, 55. Oh fuck, we also forgot to add one more variable. It's going to be the force. Hmm. Share. Share. Okay. Just see the other 80. It's a force scan count. Let's just set it to, I don't know, 30. The distance, the gap is gonna be 1. Scan length 16. Motion warping, we don't actually. Yes, 100. We'll see. Okay, so we have our motion warping stuff as well. We just want to see if this motion warping animation works. So we're going to go into content. Also, I'm going to add this to my favorite just so that it gets easier to access. Okay, so after that we wanna play montage. We only have one montage if I'm not mistaken. Okay, let's see if this is working. I think it does work. Let's see. Haha, it works. Set the y to this value. Yeah, it works. Perfect. So we know that this works. It is really great. For the combat system, the melee combat system, I think I'm going to make my own component because it's going to keep things cleaner from this object itself. Also, we are going to make some interfaces. We're going to be blueprint interface combat data. So this is going to be used to get combat state. This is going to be used to get the combat. There we go. Also, let's just compile it because we haven't done that yet. So the characters, I'm wondering if I should do the combat in a different object or inside the string itself. You know what? I think we are going to make our own components. Okay, let's do that. It's going to be a component, and this one we're gonna call it melee. There you go, perfect. So what does a melee system need? We can play. It's going to get owner. We're gonna get the owner, and we're gonna call another interface. Just in case we are not using the main mesh, we can call another function. That's why we're going to make another interface. It's gonna be called character interface data. This one is going to be used to get the character data. So we're gonna call okay, that should be it, and our character is going to be implementing this interface. So BPI combat data as well as Okay, there we go. New variable. Okay, so we have an interface. For the combat, we're just going to get this, then get a combat state. There we go. Let's pass this away. And for the character data, we're gonna pass in our mesh because that is our main. Okay, it looks like we gotta change something. It's gonna be a component. So it has to be a component. There you go. Do this, and then go to our character, and we're gonna do a compile thing. Get combat state. The fuck do you mean, bro? Mesh. What the fuck? This one is okay. What about you? You're okay as well. What the fuck is wrong with you? Okay, now it's working. Okay, there you go. Apa ni? Sama. Masih lapar na tao. Tauro kayo though. Because I'm streaming. I'm a streamer. There's about 50,000 people watching me right now. So I can't do that. So what do we need? We don't actually need anything. We're gonna get game instance. We're gonna cast this to BSC game instance. This is important because this is what our game instance is. We're gonna promote this to a variable and we're gonna call it game instance. You can call it custom GI CGI. Haha, that's nice. Okay, so we have our game instance, and our game instance is where we are going to be storing our different movesets. That's what I think I should be doing. So we're going to have our first moveset. It's going to be the unarmed, normal unarmed stuff. So let's create a moveset as well. So what do? What we do is we're gonna go to struct, we're gonna do combat, and we're gonna create a blueprint called struct moveset. Okay, there we go. I'm just gonna call it combat moveset. Okay, that sounds good. And we're going to have our gameplay tag. So how it is. Guess that is it. Yes, that is it. Okay. So by default, we are going to be use the animation blueprint one, which is going to be like the base thing, I guess. And then we're going to have an attack. We're going to have a struct attack move. An array. It's going to be light attacks. Conscious. We can actually separate. Yeah, instead of having kicks, should we have dedicated kicks or something like that? I mean, it's easy to change, but I would rather just have it in one. Light attacks and the heavy attacks. Okay, there we go. Light attacks, heavy attacks. And then what do we need? We need a animation for the blocking thing. Okay, it's gonna be single. And what do we need? We need it's gonna be a montage itself. reversal. Okay, for the grapple, right? Let's see. For the grapple, we need a struct as well. We can't just use any struct. Okay, it's gonna be powering anim. There's also going to be a animation blueprint. Except this, we need another thing. It's gonna be struct grapple move. Okay, there we go. So for the grapple move, what do we do? We need first. It's gonna be move attacker, not victim. If true, so if true, we are going to move the attacker and not the victim for positioning. Okay, so this one is done. This is going to be our any montage itself. We can put that at the very end. What we need is the scanning thing. So for the scan, how do we scan? Right, yeah. So it's going to be the same as the previous one. It's just going to be scan count. How many lines to fire from the center going towards left and right. And then we also have the gaps, just like the previous one. You know what, we should have just made this a struct itself for the enemy detection. That would have been made things a lot easier, but you know, it is yeah, for the future, just for the sake of future, let's do that. It's gonna be so we're gonna get rid of this. Just we're gonna have enemy detection. There we go. And same goes for here. Instead of having scan counts, scan gap per trace, and length. Okay, there we go. So enemy detection, combat. Oh fuck, we gotta change all of them. For dash, we're gonna have integer. Mm, okay, it should be good enough. So let's just say 30. Gap's gonna be 1, and micro is gonna be 60, just as the default values. We're gonna have attacks, default values. We already have default values for this. 30, W1, it's gonna be 60. Close this, game instance, the combat thing. So, and this is the, so now the grapple move itself, right? Show. There we go. Settings, it's gonna be 30, 1, 60, just like before. Okay. Huh. Okay, we just can't attacker. Mm, going to be used. Settings for the victim. Both enemy detection needs to be a success for the grapple attack to happen. So if you're confused by what this actually means, let's just say this is our player. Let's open up paint. Let's make this big. Can I make this big? Uh, okay, let's make it 500. The fuck? Pixels. So the way this works is, let's say this is our player right here, the attacker, right? The attacker. So this is the enemy, and the enemy is looking this way, right? He's looking this way. This is his hair and everything. This is the nose. Okay, so what happens is we are trying to attack, and this is our line trace, right? It's gonna hit the enemy, and we are going to know that this enemy is can be grabbed. But if you think about it, he cannot be grabbed because he's facing that way. We can make him rotate this way, by using the motion warping system, or we can, if you want to make it realistic, we can also, like, when this is successful, we're also going to fire line traces from him, and these line traces are not going to hit this character, right? It's not going to hit it because it's firing from the in front of the victim. So this grapple attack is going to fail. So when is this going to be successful? It's going to be successful when this happens, when the enemy is facing that way, towards the enemy, or toward the attacker, and this line trace are going to hit him. We know that this character is the victim, and we're going to fire line traces from the victim as well. And if this hits the attacker, then we know that he's facing the right way, and then the grapple animation is going to start. So that is what I mean by this. I haven't explained it really well, but I don't want to either, because it's just a prototype, and I don't really want to waste my time on these. Okay, so we have the grappling move, 2 attacks, blah blah blah, firing animation. We are gonna add another one, struct grapple. Oh fuck, wait a minute, we all need to add some damages, right? Some damages. Okay, detection, setting, enemy text can count, and then we need the animation montage itself. Ah, fucking hell, man! It crashed again. Not crashed exactly. It's just frozen right now. So we are going to wait for it to work again, and there we go. Attacker montage. Another one is gonna be victim montage. Okay, so we have the attacker montage. We have the victim montage. What else do we need? We need the damage, right? I think the damage thing is going to be handled by the base damage. We're gonna have a base damage, and it's going to be of type float. This is going to be used to apply damage to the victim in any montage using any modifiers. And that is the way we are going to do this. Okay, so we have this, we have that. We also got a ragdoll, right? Oh, we can do that. It's not a big deal. We can ragdoll them pretty easily. Okay, enemy detection, and I think that is going to be it. The montage needs to set that combat state as countering and getting countered, not grappling and getting. Okay, this is also important, and it's gonna be single value. And you know what? We can even make it an array so that we can have a bunch of reverse animation. Grapple move, and then we can have different grapple attacks as well. So we are going to be using grapple attacks as finishers. Counters cannot be interrupted. Did I mention that? Okay. That's going to be it. It's going to be our moveset, combat moveset. The weapons are going to have its own moveset as well, but for now we are going to just not use it. Let's call the we're going to call this unarmed melee movesets. Combat moveset. It's going to be the unarmed weapon stuff. So this one's going to be this: light attack, heavy attack, um, blocking the aim, parrying, and all those things. Okay, so it looks good to me. And now we're going to work on the system. Okay, this should work. You go. Okay. Data. Okay. Okay. I'm going to go and piss a little bit. Once I'm back, we're going to check more things out. Okay, so I think I fucked it up. Wait, is my mic still working? Okay, it is. Nice. Uh, so we have our data and all these things. Now we're going to work on functions, right? Some of the important functions. First is get random light attack. So first we need to create a macro. Okay, it has been compiled, and we also need a variable called unarmed combat index. This is going to be int, and the instruction is going to be the index of index what should I say? The index of the moveset struct. I'm going to use from bin instance sys array moveset array. Okay, that makes sense. It's gonna be data, and yes, I need to create a new macro. It's gonna be get moveset. Okay, it's going to use get those remove sets and get the fuck. Is it not an array? It should have been an array. Oh, it should have been an array. There we go. Okay, so it's gonna be an array. We're gonna get a. Let's get a reference. We don't really need to waste memory on this. I'll call it move set. There we go. This is the output, and we're going to get this index itself. The input can stay here. We don't really need that. So we're going to get a random input. We can also have another macro called get light attack. If we call this, it's going to break this, and we're going to get light attacks. Okay, so we can do this. We're going to get heavy attacks. And get moveset and break it, and this time we're going to get the heavy attacks. Like, it's not important, but it makes things a lot easier. After this, we're going to have a variable. Okay, bit. Now what we want to do is we are going to call this unused. Holes list with heavy attacks from current move set that has not been used yet. Okay. Play unique random attack on every attack. Did I seriously type enemy instead of every? We're gonna copy this and we're gonna call this light attacks. Okay. We're gonna check if this is empty. It's empty. If this is empty, then we know what to do, right? We are going to populate check if unused attack is empty. Get random attacks. We're gonna change this. Let's optimize this as much as we can, and we're gonna rename this. What the fuck? We're gonna rename this. It's gonna be random attack. We're gonna have a boolean. It's gonna heavy. So based on this boolean, we are going to it's empty, right? And this is going to be a select, and the index is going to be get heavy. Or else we're going to use this. We can actually promote this to a local variable. We call this unused attack. And the good thing about this is now we can use get unused attack, and we can check if this is empty. So yes, it's working perfectly. So we have this incrementing the counter, right? We also can increment the counter. Now we can just, it's going to be in beta slash heavy attacks. This is going to be in light attacks. So we need a variable for the like counter. Light attack counter. Heavy attack counter. It's gonna be in heavy. This description to here. Okay, so we have two of these things. Okay, random blah 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 blah. So once you have this variable, what do you want to do? Next thing that we're going to do is probably so we're going to get a random variable. It's just going to respond to the random stuff. Okay, I just keep on forgetting that and thinking way too much ahead of time. So we have unused attack, right? Get unused attack. And yeah, know what? Let's not even use a variable this way because we eventually have to get rid of. Okay. So if it is heavy, we're going to populate the heavy one. We set this, or if it is the light one, we're going to set the light one. Okay, so as you do, get light attacks, heavy attacks, and then get light attacks. This is supposed to return, okay, so this is going to be sorry stuff. So once you have this, okay, then we'll check. Okay, so this is done. We can go back to the false state now. Late since okay, so if they're okay, then we're gonna do let's just do this. You select from here, get heavy. Okay. So what do you want to do? We want to get random item from array, not actually random like that. Get a copy, right? We're gonna get a copy. It's gonna be random. Integer -1. I promote this to a local variable, but the rate deposit keeps on changing. Around 90. Okay. We get this random data. Okay, there we go. So what do we do after we get the we can return this, I guess. After we get we're gonna store this in a local variable. Ah, we get the rand attack. Just do this. I think it's gonna be much easier to contemplate. Okay, there we go. So once we have the run attack, we can just return this. It looks good to me. So after that, we will need to remove the element. The tag since we used it now. Okay, so return node, and we're going to return our round attack. Okay, there we go. This is our function number 1 that is done. We are okay. If you need an explanation, this function is just going to return a random non-repetitive random heavy light attack from turn moveset. Okay, so the way this works is it's going to return a random unique a heavy or light attack. The first thing it does is it checks if the unused attack array is empty or not. If it is empty, that means that we have used all of the unique attacks and now it's time to repopulate them. So we are going to repopulate them over here. We are repopulating the heavy or the light based on this boolean value. And once we're done with that, we can proceed to the false step, which is going to be the normal routine. Instead of doing it this way, to make it easier, we can just do this sequence, right? We can cut this off and just do this. This empty, we are going to populate out so we don't need that, and there you go. Okay, let me see if this makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense. Okay, so we have a sequence, which means that 0 is going to get executed and then 1, sequence number 1 is going to get executed. So first is we are going to populate the unused attack arrays if they're empty, which is done over here, and then we're going to come in this sequence. In this sequence we're getting a random integer, which means like a random integer within the range of the length, and then we use this random integer to get a random element from the unused attack moveset arrays. And once we have that, we are going to store it in a local variable, and we will know the reason we're doing this very soon. And it's going to be heavy. And then once we store the copy in a local variable, we're going to get rid of that specific item with the help of the random index that we saved. We're going to get rid of that from the unused light attacks because we have used it, so it's no longer unused, so we remove it. After removing, we are going to call the return node and just return the local attack structure that we saved earlier. So that's why we saved it over here. Okay, so this is how it works. And let me see if there's something else that I have forgotten. I think this should be good, and the rest is just going to be playing the montage and stuff like that. The second thing is probably going to be calculating the offset and stuff like that for the motion warping. Okay, so I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a local variable and call it's going to be type name that motion warp name. Ah, fuck this one, we don't need that. We just need to hard code this until we come up with stuff that we need to. We're going to create another function where this is going to be calculate motion warping data. Enemy detection. The second thing is probably going to be the enemy detection stuff. Enemy detection Do we need that though? For now, I think we are fine for now. Let's just test this function, get random attacks. Let's again random attacks, light and heavy. Okay. So for our demo sake, we are going to make an array 0. It's going to be light attacks. Light attack first, roundhouse kick, and I think that's going to be it as well. So we're going to do the same for heavy, and blocking animation, all those things can be empty as of now. So it's a combat, right? I think we already have the attack. Attack. Yeah, we do have. So attack, right? What we're gonna do is when I get this, get random attack. We are going to get the. Actually, you know what? This can be fucking pure. It doesn't even need to be held. Let's. We don't want this. Break this, and then we are going to run montage. It's going to go over here, and this is going to just play on the client as of now because it's not replicated, but that is cool. We are just here to test it out. Anta, okay, there you go. It's working. Yep, it's working. Tahu text baru use ini bang. Baru langsung use ini tadi. 5 minutes, I guess. It does work. Yeah, so we can attack. Yep, there you go. It's pretty nice. Yeah.
What do you think? God is cunning person?
No,
No.
because it's cunning. Because it's cunning. Why would somebody hate it for? Why would somebody be hated for being clever? I don't see the point. What you should hate is what God probably hates is cunning people who misuse their this cleverness. I think that's what God hates. You should be cunning to avoid getting scammed, to avoid being a fool. That's my view. I'm not saying it's correct, but that's kind of like how I see it. Hmm. Okay. This is working. The animation and stuff like that. It's all fine. So the next thing we need to do is when you press attack, you want to scan for some stuff, right? Okay, so we have random attacks. Ooh. Within a specific distance. You want to do a global scan. Okay, so the way is this has to motion warp, right? Okay, this has to motion warp. Fuck me, man. I just realized that. Okay, for that we need transitional animation thing. So let's see, transition. Where did I write transition? Text frame attacks. Okay, this one. So it's transitioning. The first is we can use a transitional attack animation. If we're too far, it's going to attack that way. We can do that. We can definitely do this. The first one is going to be a lot easier, and I think that is super easy. The second way is a bit harder because we have to, and I think it's going to be a bit more expensive as well. Because think about it, while you're transitioning, you have to continuously keep on checking. Good thing is it doesn't need continuous usage. Let's check if we are finding an enemy. So saves performance. Bad thing is that we are going to fully play the animation and only then be able to view our other attacks. So that is one of the drawbacks that I can see. Okay, so that is the drawback, right? Okay, there is a drawback. What about anything else that I should be worried about? Let's see, let's see. Yeah, let's try the first one. We'll try this method because I think it's going to be easier. But do we have such animation? I think we have one. Okay, let's see transitioning. Transitioning. Fuck man, it's just pain in the ass. Okay, we also have another way of doing this. That is gonna be we can reset. Whenever we run out of attacks, we can reset. Mm, we can do this, or we can. This is the random attacks, right? But the thing is, random attacks means the motion warping. It's not going to be the best because you get random values and you have to find it. I mean, in the case, random attacks is a bit tough to work with, but I think we can work this out. I think we can work this out. So when we attack, right, calculate, we are also going to be calculating. So find enemy, find enemy for attack, scan enemy for attack. Okay, so this is going to take an struct. Attack move. Oh, check for uh, an attack that can be used what we're gonna do. Okay, you know what? Let's fuck it. Get a random attack, right? We're gonna get a random attack. This attack, it's going to scan for enemies. If you find it, oh wait, I'm still thinking. Oh, wait. How should we do this? Okay, I think the way we do this is when we attack, we're going to fire up a global trace. And we're going to keep track of all the enemies that we hit. And we're going to favor. Oh, that's way too much work, man. That's way too much fucking work. Mm, yeah, that's way too much work. Not worth the work. One thing that we can do is most of our attacks are going to warp us no matter what. So like the warping distance is going to be pretty good. We can do that. We can do that. We can definitely do that. Yes. So transition attacks. It's going to be very smooth indeed. I think that's the way to go. We're gonna have another this montage. It's gonna be attack. Machine warping from one enemy to another who isn't in range of normal attacks. And the range for normal attacks should be definitely high, like decently high. Okay, let's go to contents. Fighter. Oh fuck it has been it has been 56 minutes. The fuck is this guy? Okay, so animations. Fighter. Attacks. Is there dash attacks? Okay, we have dash attacks. That is fucking nice. You can use this. Okay, that is nice. It's very fucking nice. Also, let's to make it interesting. Let's make it array, so it's gonna be like unique. Where's that attack? Okay. This one, right? So we have two of these. Yep, this is fucking interesting. I like it. I like it. I fucking like it. This is the move itself. Okay. For the stun, it has to exceed a certain amount of strength. Okay. Yeah, I think we're gonna use this one. Okay, because it which one has a bit more ground distance? Kick. That's gonna be good. Skew. Transition. Okay, just call it transition for now because it doesn't really matter. So we're gonna go back to our game instance. We have our transition attacks, and it's gonna be just one for now. Running kick. There we go. So we have a running kick, right? So global scan. We want to do a global scan towards the direction that our player is looking at. The camera, we also, I forgot to tell you, we're going to scan based on the camera, not the way our character is facing, because it just doesn't look good, you know, it doesn't look good. So we're gonna do a global scan, global enemy scan thing, and it's gonna take in transform of our camera. Scan start transform. Okay, so we have this. We're gonna line trace by channel. We're just gonna trace. I don't know how many traces to do, but let's just say we're gonna do about. Let's just say should count. Let's give this about 30. right? Also, we go to our project setting and add a new line trace for our object. So we're gonna go to collision trace, and we're gonna call this newly trace. Newly trace, and it's gonna be ignore because we don't want our shots to hit most of the stuff. Just because why not? Okay, so newly trace. For loop, it's gonna start at 0, and we're gonna continue until the last index. There we go. Like this. The start is going to be from our camera, right? Our camera transform. Scan start transform. We split this. We have this. We get our get forward vector. Get forward vector. Okay. Get forward vector. Okay, this is gonna give us a forward vector. Instead of this, I think instead of having a transform this way, we should have a rotation as well as a rotator. Okay, so it's going to be a rotator. Our location is going to start up here. It's going to look up. No. We can definitely do that. Transform, right? Okay. So this is going to give us our forward vector, like where our vector is looking, and into the location. Let's do about float. Let's just say 500, 1000. Yeah. And then we're gonna add plus to this and find out our direction. Okay, so let's just end as well as our start. Okay, just for the sake of this, let's draw this for global enemy scan. Let's just do a global enemy scan. Okay, and for the transform, we're gonna go the get world transform and return this. Sorry, not return, pass this as the argument. So when you attack, okay, we are firing off from, I don't know where the fuck is this firing from. That is weird. Yuck. Okay, please get fucking stable already. What the fuck is wrong with you, man? Get stable, man. Fucking stable. Okay, so now we have to figure out the fucking maths behind this. I did not think this is wrong. Just to okay, let's make array. There we go. Okay, so yes, it does work. It does definitely work. If I look up, it's okay. So yeah, it is correct. The logic is correct. Starting is going to be our camera location, but instead we want to start from the actor's location. This is where we want to start at, and as for the ending, let's see. Okay, so we are starting it off at the center, which is really great. Which is really great. The problem is, let's just see what the problem is. We are firing it off everywhere, right? We don't want to do that. From the actor itself. But where are the yaw value is? Okay, we are gonna have to make our own rotator, I guess. Rotator. Let's see. We're gonna bring this rotator and for the yaw, we're gonna do yaw. And for get active rotation, split this. The roll's gonna be the roll. Yeah. Okay. And then what we're gonna do is a rotator, right? So we're gonna get the forward vector of this. So if everything is correct, I hope that okay. Wow, that is strange. Shouldn't have been like that. Okay, whatever. Whatever we'll look up. Okay, it's kind of working, I guess. The rotator vector. Okay, so about now. So it does work, but we are adding it to our what? I guess this one will work. Yeah, the line is pretty fucking straight. Okay, that is it. Worth it. Okay, it is working. So, yeah, it does work. You can say that it works. Perfect, fucking perfect. So we have the line trace firing up, and it's going to face towards the direction that we are facing at. Come on, Jeremy! Oh, fuck. That is a good progress, good progress. I'm happy with this. And let's make the color a bit different. Let's make it blue. And when we hit something, it's going to be white. Okay, there we go. So, so the next thing we want to work on is the this making it shift towards the left or towards the right. Okay. So the way you want to do this. Okay. Let's just do into. Let's just do 1. We're gonna do plus. Okay. And we'll pass this in. I think this is going to be it. Nice. There we go. It's working. The thing is, we wanna, you know, this has to be. So we are in the local variable called room. Just left. Set love to. It's gonna be okay. Not. And gonna be a local variable. We're gonna call this index. Let's just call it I, you know, just like how we do it in the coding world. So he's gonna be get I, and oh fucking hell, I should have named it better. No, let's just call it something else. Too much. Okay, and for this, it's gonna be select. It's gonna be what's left, and it's gonna be either 1 or either -1. Okay, so I think if my logic is correct, it's going to fire the line trace towards both the left and the right distributedly. Hey, there we go. I told you it's gonna work. Nice. Nice. There you go. We can work on the space if you want to, so it's not a big deal. And if you're looking this way and we do that, it's still gonna work. So it does work. It works based on the location we're looking at. There's awesome. It's very awesome. Okay. Okay, so since this is working, we can get the enemy's location. We can play a transitional attack. Okay, so roll enemy scan. Did we find anyone? Did we not find anyone? And based on this, that data, and if you found anyone, we're just gonna return. If you found anyone, we're gonna check if they implement a certain interface that we are going to create right now. Create I general we're gonna call this health system. Okay, and this one it's going to be called apply damage. This is our own custom apply damage function, and so we are going to do from the local variable. We call this HR. And we call get HR. Break it, and the actor, right? The hit actor implements it's going to be DPI health system. If they implement the health system, we are going to return it, and we are going to return this actor itself. There we go. There we go. Perfect. And it's going to be a pure function as well. So we are going to do a global scan, and if you find an enemy, we are going to just do some stuff with it. So global scan, we found an enemy. I think what we can do instead of doing a global scan this way, we can do is return an array of enemy. So this one has to get changed a little bit. It's not gonna work anymore. So if it does work, we're gonna call the local variable hit actors, and we're going to is there a linked list, by the way? Hit actors. So it's actually going to be sequential, but I still kind of am worried about something else. So you know what? Let's just close this and add. We're going to add the hit actor. And doesn't exist. And okay, there we go. Awesome, perfect. Okay, so if they implement this and we can do that stuff, then we are going to call this line trace and blah 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 blah. At the very end, we're going to return the hit actors. Perfect. Okay, so we have the hit actors, all of the enemies that have been hit. So what do we do once we get the actors that have been hit? Once we get the enemies that have been hit, we're going to get a random attack, and we are going to see if random attack and the distance they match up. Too much fucking work. Who's doing this? Oh yes, it's you know what? Fuck this. We're not gonna do this. We're just gonna return the fucking actor. Fuck you, man. Fuck you. Return it, fucking piece of shit. And I'm just gonna return this actor itself. We are not going to be doing any of this bullshit. Okay, you can fuck off. You can kindly fuck off as well. And there you go. And we have the actor. It's gonna be pure. And yes. So we have the hit actor this time. Okay, so once we have the hit actor, what do you want to do with this actor? You're gonna get a random attack. Let's just see, we're gonna do this. Random attack. We are trying to do a random attack, and if it fails, okay. Protection for attack. Yes, this is going to be a crucial function. So how is it going to work? It's going to take an destructive attack. We're gonna break this, and we're gonna use all these variables over here. All data, scan data. Okay, there we go, perfect. So once you have the scan data, what you're gonna do is you're gonna start a for loop. But for each, it's gonna be just a for loop with a fucking this one, and it's gonna start at 0, and it's going to end with the count. Iteration count, and it's gonna be local variable. And we're gonna call this index. There we go. And what's left is going to be set to get what's left. We're going to reverse this thing. Line trace by channel. It's going to be in the milli trace and the starting right. The starting is fuck you. So little count. And we gain the rotation. Okay, we're gonna break this. No, we don't even need to break this. We're gonna split this. Get owner. Get actor location. Wait a minute, how did I do that? Okay, I forgot. Okay, full factor off. Okay, you make a rotator. We're gonna multiply this by the length. Plus mm. Mucho crilla. works into it's gonna be scan select, I guess. Yeah, so explode left. There we go. Okay, so if this thing works properly, we are able to see this for just for duration. Okay. So for scan, what we'll do is nervous system attack. And we're gonna do a for attack. Oh, it's so ugly. Just look at this piece of shit. Of course, it's not gonna hit anything. Okay, so once you're done with that, if you did hit an enemy, mm, global enemy scan. We also need to change this function. Instead of using a transform, we're going to use a okay, and we are going to return the hit actor as well as the mhm. Let's just attack light attack blast. We're just going to do a light attack blast. You know what? This is should be an event itself. So we're gonna be okay. Let's paste it in here. Now it's all looking nice. Don't need this. Don't need this. Okay, the random attack. Check if the random attack can hit a target. If not, go for a global scan. This camera as well. It's rotation. It's going to be from here. It's rotation. It's going to be from here itself. And yes. So if it is that, we're gonna random attack can't hit. So we use small attack. Attack isn't in range for enemy. Scan. And see if we hit something. So firstly we're gonna do get a random attack, and once you do that we're gonna check if that attack can hit the enemy. If it cannot hit, we're gonna do a global scan, and this is for the transitional attack. And if we hit it this time, we're just gonna probably end up attacking some stuff and blah blah blah. Okay. Server. Montage. Montage. Slash. Okay. There we go. Add custom event. Client montage. Right. So this is gonna be here. Here. It's gonna be here. And this one is going to be calling the montage itself. This and this, and this is going to be multicasted, which means that it's going to be played on every single server. Okay, perfect. So if we find an enemy, we have found an actor that we hit. We're gonna. This one is for the attacks. Attacks. And the transition attacks. This is going to be enemy scan. Scans. Enemy scans. Okay. And we need another function. Calculate. Warping data. This is already for the motion warping. Okay, this one I think I'm gonna do it tomorrow. We're gonna check if a random attack has been hit. If it did hit, we're just gonna play our server stuff. It's this one. Okay. Next global mesh. Okay. You know what? We don't even need to do that. We can just do get owner and just do the main scalable mesh. To this, yes, and the montage to play. It's gonna be for the tag, right? This one. Break and the montage, the enemy itself. There you go, perfect. Okay. This. For attack. for attack. Working data for grapple. Okay, so we have 3 motion wellbeing stuff. Okay, so this is gonna get played. Then if you have found your enemy range, further we're going to an attack. Maybe attack him. Okay, there we go, perfect. With that, to find this, we are going to do it for transitional attack. There we go, and then we're just going to do the outplay transition attack one. And do this again. So just the normal one.
Can you do download? मुझे एक स्टेप ही दीजिए ना सब पे दीजिए
Okay, there we go. If this all of this failed, then we're just gonna do a yep. So light attack. So okay, let's say this works. Let's try light attack system. Say this works. The first thing did not hit, so we're trying to find a second thing that hit as well. So we are playing this montage over here. It was the not sure what is not playing though. Hello, friend. Okay, so this work. I think it's the animation. Light. Oh, I think yeah, light is empty if I'm not mistaken. Fuck me. Okay, so way to fix this is probably going to be going into this here. Let's add a light attack. Okay, oh, we already have a light attack, man. What the fuck? You can just use this. Why is this not playing? Okay, cool. You know what? Let's print our light attack just to be sure that it's working. Join the system, light attack. Attack. Okay, there we go. Light attack. Print the name of the light attack as well. And if this fails, we are gonna go over here the light attack thing. Yep, it's working. Okay, there you go. Does this work? What we want to do is we want to rotate the character towards the camera and all that stuff. So we want to do it later on. If this is not valid, I'm going to do a rotation. Later, I mean it's rotator. Backup rotator. Lifting is null. Character will rotate towards this side. Okay, makes sense. Wow, it's working. I'm pretty fucking happy. Gonna lie. Okay, and we also need state current combat save and all these things. We haven't like really worked on them, but they are meant to be used as something else. Okay, I think that's gonna be enough for today. Oh yeah. Does work, I would say. So that's like the first line, and like since it cannot hit anything, it's trying to fire the second line. And when it fails to find the second line as well, it's just playing the animation without any of that stuff, which is really great. Yeah. So thank you for tuning in my stream. We coded for about 1 hour 30 minutes, but it felt like we have been coding for a very long time. But yeah, it's really nice that you guys have been able to join. So yes, yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Okay, how the fuck do I close this? There you go. Show the game. Okay, sorry, I did show the game, but I guess it's a bit too late. Anyways, thank you all. I'll see you guys later.